welcome back to the channel. I was not wanting to do this one, but what I know about this work, what I know about sharing when I'm going through something, one, it's deeply healing for myself because there is power in, processing and channeling and releasing what is going on within us. And this is something I've really found a lot throughout my journey. Like if you've been here for a while, if you've been in my community for a while, I've been sharing for a long time. And it's because it's so healing to share what I'm going through. But I'm also making sure that I do this because right now I know if I'm going through it, so many others are. And actually, I was in our Empowered Awakening group yesterday, just speaking to sort of this dark night experience that we're collectively moving through, which will always then show up individually as well. And, this video is very much going to be for you if you're in it. You could see it as kind of like a monthly energy check-in, like where are we at now, being almost halfway through February? How are we feeling? What's showing up? Kind of like a temperature gauge. But there are also some very specific pieces that have been coming through that I think are very, very important to share. Because again, what I know about this work is that it's a collective experience we're having. And even if we feel like we're alone in it, we are not. We are not. So yeah, I hope that this video can be really helpful for you if you're feeling like there's a lot showing up for you right now, if you're feeling like the energy is really intense, if you're feeling like there's a lot of things showing up, not just one, if you're feeling like you're kind of stuck in it and it's like this hamster wheel feeling, this video will be very helpful for you. And as always, before I dive in, I want to remind you that if you need extra support, I offer both my one-to-one deep dive soul coaching, which allows you to go deeper with what you are desiring for yourself, but more importantly, what's getting in the way. Because when we desire something for ourselves, we're not yet receiving it. We're not yet experiencing it. And there's a reason for that. It's because there will be things that are showing up within us that essentially are blocking us in a way. Fears, limiting beliefs, past pain. And so the deep dive coaching goes deep in order for you to experience change on your soul journey and receive the things that you desire, like really get to experience what it is that you want to experience. And then if you're more so looking for clarity, and I say clarity within self, because my one-to-one soul readings in the Akashic Records are designed to help you find clarity within yourself, help you to find the answers within yourself. We connect into your Akashic Records and we receive lots of information around your soul journey, around what your soul has chosen to experience in this lifetime and how that plays a part in what you are experiencing. But truly, these sessions are to help you come to here and help you find answers here. And so lots of different ways that you can receive that extra support. But let's dive in, because what I want to provide here is a few different things. One, I want to speak to just a few of these important kind of themes that are showing up, both what I was going through and how I think it could really relate to what you might be going through. Two, I want to, speak to again what I am going through. I want to share a little bit, and I haven't really done this that much lately. I've gotten a little bit more, I don't know if private is the right word, but I've just gotten a little bit more aware of what it is that I want to share and what it is that I don't. And I feel like it's important to share this, sort of what I've been navigating the last few days, especially. And then I want to do a card pull to help give you some hope in the energy that you are moving through, in the energy that you might feel stuck in the energy that might feel overwhelming for you right now. I'm hoping that a little card pull, and we'll see what wants to come through. I have no idea, but we'll see how that can support all of us, me, you, everyone in the collective right now, as we're moving through this very intense February energy. I will say too, if you haven't gone back and watched the February forecast, the energy forecast, highly recommend doing that. There are some important astrological dates I speak to that I think are really playing a part in the collective energy and why things are showing up when they're showing up. And also it just gives you kind of, I like to think of the monthly energy forecasts as a bit of a blueprint to help support you on your path for the month ahead. So without further ado, let's dive in. I want to speak to a little bit around what I have been moving through over the last few days. And it's funny, I had no intention of really sharing this, but again, I find so much healing in sharing what I'm going through because it's just so important for us to speak our truth. I've really come to understand that and realize that. And I also know that when I share maybe something I'm going through, it helps others feel less alone in the process. For the last 4 or 5 years, I have been navigating post-separation from my marriage, and I've been finding myself through the process. Like, I've really been learning who I am. I've been going so deep in my healing, in my relationship with my kids as a mother, healing lots of hard pieces when it comes to building a business. Like, building my business has been a whole spiritual awakening in itself, in seeing just the glass ceilings I had created for myself throughout my life. And yeah, so I've really been on a journey the last 5 years, especially. And part of this journey has also been exploring love and putting myself out there again, being single, learning who I am as a single woman, learning who I am in relationship again. I've had a couple relationships throughout the last 4 or 5 years since my marriage. And it's been hard. I that's always been a big piece for me, is love. I think I'm a lover girl at heart. And it's been hard to navigate sort of the ups and downs of relationships and kind of still be at this place where I haven't experienced the love that I know that I'm meant to experience, and the relationship that I know so deep down I am meant to experience. And a lot of that has been showing up for me the last few days, like really, really hard, old emotions, grief, sadness, disappointment. And I've really had to dig into my relationship with my mom, because I watched my mom be single and in and out of relationships post marriage for herself when I was a teenager, when my parents separated. I've really had to, over the years, look at how that's shaped who I am and my patterns in relationship. And over the last few days, it's really reared its head again, sort of these stories I think I've told myself, or stories that sometimes I get stuck in, or conditioning that I've experienced, experiences I've had that have shaped how I show up in relationship, or how I show up in love. So it's been hard, and it's sort of like this last piece that hasn't come through when everything else has slowly slotted in with a lot of work. Like my relationship with my kids is at a really beautiful place. My business has expanded into this new level that I've never experienced my business to be at. I'm experiencing financial abundance, and it's taken a lot of work to get to this place. It's taken a lot of inner work. It's taken a lot of healing. It's taken a lot of knowing how to set up certain structures and systems and support for myself in order to receive abundance, in order for it to feel safe to receive. And yeah, so I've really shifted and changed and developed and expanded a lot of areas of my life. And this love piece is sort of just not there yet still. And the last few days have been really hard. You know, there have been some things that have shown up, some external pieces that have shown up that have brought a lot of this up, as relationships do. And, you know, relationships with others and our interactions with others. And it's brought it up again. And it's felt really hard. It's felt really heavy. It's felt, yeah, that's the best way to explain it, really hard and really heavy. And I'm going to speak to kind of like a few themes here that came through that I feel I'm meant to share. Because, you know, one of the things that I'm realizing through the process over the last few days, especially, is this piece of not giving up. And that's something that I want to speak to on a collective level as well. So this piece of not giving up, but it's also brought up for me these thoughts, these stories that I've experienced throughout my awakening journey of like, you know, am I crazy? Am I the only one that has to feel like it's this hard? Why does it have to feel this hard? Am I crazy? Like, that's something that I've really said to myself a lot, because sometimes I look around and I'm like, it looks so much easier for other people. You know, as I've been navigating the last few days, these stories, these thoughts of like, am I crazy? Am I the only one that goes through this? What's wrong with me? Why doesn't anyone else go through this? I think this is really important to name, because it also ties into this other piece that felt important to bring up, which is, you know, one thing that I try to remind myself of in these moments, in these phases, in these chapters where it feels really hard, where it feels like the hard stuff keeps showing up, where it feels like there's no reprieve, or where it feels like I'm still dealing with something, you know, like it still keeps showing up, is that some of us, and you'll know if this resonates, like some of us, our souls have chosen to come here to have quite an experience, to go through quite a transformation, to do some pretty damn heavy lifting in this lifetime, to really dig in and shift and heal and integrate and clear and alchemize really big things within ourselves. And there's no sugarcoating it. That makes the process feel really challenging sometimes. That makes the journey, that makes life feel really challenging. It was interesting. I was listening to a podcast today, and the girl was like, you know, sometimes I feel like my human just is like getting dragged along. I feel like that sometimes. I feel like sometimes the human in me, like my soul's like, whoa, we're doing big things in this life, you know, and is stoked. And sometimes I feel like my human is like just dead, being dragged through the mud again. And that's what the last few days have felt like for me, where I'm like, this again, this again, this again, where I have to like, you know, I thought I had worked through that. And like, you know, I even get a little emotional just like feeling into it, because so much compassion for our human, you know, like so much compassion for our human who like really has to go through the ringer sometimes, because it is hard some days. You know, if your soul has really signed up for it, I get emotional because it's actually quite beautiful also. Like, I wouldn't trade this for the world. I'm so glad that my soul chose to come here and have like a hard experience, because part of that hard also gets to be like the really beautiful moments where like we really get to feel, you know, like sometimes I'm like, I have these moments with the kids where I'm like so present and I just feel so connected. And 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I could never have experienced that because I hadn't been doing any of the work and I was so blocked. And so part of me, while it is so hard sometimes, is also so grateful because there are these moments that make it so worth it. And so I say that piece, I'm kind of all over the place with this video today, but I say that piece because if it feels hard, if it feels like it doesn't stop, like, I want you to know you are not alone. You are not alone. And your soul chose some really big things in this life. And I know that doesn't make it easier, but at least there's purpose to it, you know? Like, at least on those really hard days when you're in the muck, and when you're in the muck, I was going to say the mud, the muck, like when you're in it and it's sticky and it's heavy and it's like, oh my God, this again. Can you try to remind yourself that this is part of it for me and that this is the journey? You know, I truly believe also that these journeys that some of our souls have chosen, they don't stop. You know, and I think our human at some point wants to be like, when is this going to stop? When do I get to have reprieve? When do I get to coast? And I think for some of us, that's not the journey, because we came here to do some really big things within ourselves, within our soul energy, within the collective. And so that means it's this constant delayering process of everything that we are not. That's hard work some days. And there's going to be a lot of fight and resistance that shows up in your system because it never gets to feel comfortable. You know, I think about who I was for the first 30 years of my life. And while it was, you know, I had traumatic experiences and it was hard, it was also comfortable in a lot of ways. And then when I became a mom and I was thrust into this journey, it got really uncomfortable and it has not stopped. It has continued to be uncomfortable. Why? Because there is this never ending invitation to continue to grow and expand out of anything that is comfortable, anything that is safe in the external. Because what I know about my journey is that my soul has come here to learn how to really source that safety from within my authentic energy and within my authentic connection and with spirit. So I really hope that that can help you a little bit. Like, if you're in it, I've really tried to have to ground into this place of acceptance that this is my journey. Like, this is it. There's no coasting. And actually, I feel like if I were to coast, I'd get a little bit bored. You know, I think there is a part of me that's like, it gets to be fun. Like, sometimes, like, how wild it can be can actually also be exhilarating and really fun as well. You know, and actually, to follow up with that last piece, you're not crazy. If you have those thoughts, I'm crazy, everyone is different in my life, I'm the only one that goes through this, you're not crazy. Two, connect it back to that piece of the soul journey, like the journey that your soul has chose. This is it. There are going to be really high highs and really low lows. I do believe that nervous system regulation plays such an important part because it's less this and more, right? So it's not so jagged, it's not so intense, it's not chaotic. And when we have these tools and the awareness, we can then support ourselves in the really intense, beautiful stuff and the really intense, hard stuff. And, you know, some people might watch this and be like, you are crazy. And that's okay. We have very different journeys. That's what I've also come to learn is like the people that probably look at me in my life and the things that I do and what I share and what I do for a living and what I talk about. There are 1000% people who watch this that are like, she's crazy. Those aren't my people. And we have different journeys. All of our souls have chosen up for very different, or have chosen to sign up for very different things here. And so I've found a lot of peace in just reminding myself that it's a different journey for those people who look at what I'm doing and probably think it's crazy. And that's okay. There's so much peace found in that acceptance. I have found it's taken a little bit to get there, but it's really helped me. The last piece I want to speak to is not giving up. And this is something that's really come through for me a lot over the last few days. Because, yeah, there has been some energy of like, okay, this again. I don't know if I can keep doing this. I don't know if I can keep digging into this. Maybe this isn't for me. Like I had this thought show up that was like, well, maybe love just isn't for me. Like maybe this big, expansive, deeply safe, rooted, secure, love, transformative is not for me. I was like, okay. I mean, I sat in it for a while, and definitely my human was having a field day with it. But then I was very much reminded, and this is why we have to have our tools and our practices and our connection with spirit and trust. I grounded back into this important piece of, oh no, it's meant for me. Number one, do not give up. And number two, double down into faith. Because what I've come to learn is that when we have a vision of something, and it is something we feel in our soul, that we feel on a deeper level, not up here, because the ego likes to play some tricks in terms of what we think we're supposed to do or have, but like in here, you know, when you've had that feeling, that deep knowing. Okay. So I have that when it comes to this beautiful love that I know that is out there, and I know I'm meant to experience when the time is right. And so this is about doubling down into faith of the process, of the timing. And also what I realized in the work, the inner work that I've been digging into the last few days, you know, I'm always doing the inner work, but like in some of the pieces that I have been digging into specifically over the last few days, I'm being reminded that so much of what I have set, and actually, if you're a girly girl that's single, this might be really helpful for you to hear. If you are one of my spiritual girlies, if you know, who's like doing this work, you're digging in, you want that love, you know it's meant for you, but it's not happening. Here's what I was reminded of the last few days that's really important. The last 4 or 5 years for me have been a process of building a foundation that I never saw occur in my life by a woman. And I love my mom so much. We have a beautiful relationship, and I know why I chose her as my mom. But I didn't get to see her build that foundation for herself in the way that maybe I would have wanted to, or would have hoped to. But that's part of my soul path, because I actually realized I wasn't supposed to see that, because I was supposed to learn how to do it for myself on my own. And that's what the last 4 or 5 years have been for me. It's been building this foundation for myself on my own in every area of my life, because what I'm realizing is that all of this is preparing me for that love that I know I'm meant to experience. And that love I know I'm meant to experience, because it's meant to feel so grounded, rooted, safe, secure, expansive, transformative, reciprocal. I know that what I want for my partner, we are going to need to be able to meet each other in that. And so what I have been doing over the last however many years is learning how to truly embody this in every aspect of my life. I have been preparing. And so if you're listening, if you're one of my girly girls that's like, I want that love, perhaps it hasn't shown up for you yet because you're still in the process of preparing the foundation that you're building within yourself and in your own life. Because whatever that thing is that you desire, the universe will always ask you to embody it first. If that's truly what you desire, and it's clear and it's authentic and it's aligned, you will be asked to embody it first. Otherwise, if it does show up, it might not actually be that thing. So I wanted to just add that in, because that was really helpful for me to receive and be reminded of over the last few days. It's helped me now double down into my faith again, of like, oh yeah, I've really still been, even over the last few months, doubling down more into this foundation I'm creating. Let's see what wants to come through here, because, again, I have no idea. We'll see what the cards want to say. But I feel like it would be really nice for us to, me included in this card pull, to receive some guidance on just like, sometimes you just need a little bit of that reinforcement, even though we know it's going to be okay. I truly believe that. I truly believe it's going to be okay. And in fact, not just okay that it gets to be better than okay. It gets to be freaking amazing. But sometimes it's nice to get a little card pull. Let's see what just fell out. Okay. There were, let's see, 5 cards here. I'll pull a couple more and then just see. Okay, my friends, Let's see what wants to come through. The Empress. So right away, what I always notice the most about the Empress is she looks like a pregnant woman, right? Like she's at full term. Ooh, this is exciting, you guys. When we're at full term, we're getting ready. We're getting ready for a new piece. We're getting ready for a new chapter, a new phase. We're entering into something new. This feels so juicy. And I get excited, right? Because everything I was just talking about, like whatever this new chapter, new phase is meant to be, it gets to feel exciting. It gets to feel exciting. And part of the message here is, and even it reminds me of what we were just talking about there, is like you are in some final pieces of preparation here for a next chapter, for a next phase. You are full term. And it almost feels like there's that like nesting energy of, are there things that you can be doing to better prepare yourself? Are there things that you can be doing to settle into this new energy that's going to be coming through? Are there ways that you can be nesting within yourself and in your life to help better prepare you for what's going to be coming through? And this could be anything. It might not be a relationship. It could be a creative endeavor with work. This could be a new job that you're going to be stepping into. It could be a new home that you're moving into. It feels like there is this like precipice energy, right? Like that feeling. And I remember when I was pregnant with both the kids, it feels like that feeling of like right before I was ready to give birth, and like I got a bit impatient. Ooh, yes, 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 we're on to something here. I got a bit impatient. And I remember and I wasn't like super tapped in back then, but I remember just also trying to remind myself, like, be patient with the process. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like for me back then, the baby's going to come through, but be patient with the process. And that feels like such a big piece here, is like patience, my love, because it's going to happen. That was a fun card to start with. The Four of Pentacles. And what I always notice with the Four of Pentacles is how closely she's holding her belongings to her. It almost feels like one of the words that's coming through is protection. One of the words that's coming through is like armor or defenses. And so like notice where you might be closing yourself off. Notice where you might be shutting down. Notice where, if you are feeling impatient, you might be shutting down to this piece. You might be questioning it. You might be holding, there's this almost invitation to open your heart more. Like open your heart more and in trusting of the process. Allow yourself to open your heart more as you're entering into this new piece, and that the heart opening is part of entering into this new energy. Because when we allow ourselves to open our hearts with boundaries, of course, right? Like not in like an exposed way, but when we allow ourselves to open our hearts, there is a trust there. There is a trust fall. Ooh, the Fool card. I'm thinking of the Fool card, right? There is a trust fall in that piece. And so notice if you're blocking yourself. Notice if you're holding yourself back. Notice if you're trying to protect yourself out of fear, right? Or even I was thinking about what I was talking about before, shutting down, feeling like I give up because I've been trying so hard. Well, trust. Keep your heart open. Also really important, Nine of Swords, to be looking at any thoughts, any limiting beliefs, any way the ego is showing up that's trying to block you from where you know you're going, from what you know you're stepping into. Anywhere that your ego is blocking you from being able to open to this next piece. Because what can happen when we don't receive something when we think we're supposed to, or it doesn't come through when we think we're supposed to, our ego will get in there and start to make us second guess it, start to make us doubt it, start to make us doubt, like, well, maybe this isn't for me, similar to what I was talking about then. And we really want to be aware of how clever the ego can do this as a way to protect ourselves from hurt and disappointment. Okay. Two of Wands. Part of what feels important with the Two of Wands showing up with this is getting yourself out there, trying maybe something new, or putting yourself in an environment that you're not used to, something that you wouldn't typically do, right? Like she's looking out the window in a forlorn, you know what I mean, in a way where she's looking, but almost is apprehensive to try it. She knows that there's more out there, but is almost holding back. And it feels like there's this invitation to step out, to maybe try something new, to go into a new environment, to take a risk, to do something that you've never done before, as you are continuing to double down into trusting this process. Like put yourself out there. Try something that you've never done before. Put yourself in a situation that maybe feels uncomfortable, not in like a scary way, but uncomfortable because it's out of your comfort zone. That's where we grow. That's also where we have new experiences and we expand ourselves. Ace of Pentacles, because it's new beginnings. There's a lot of new pieces that are going to be starting here for you, especially in regards, Pentacles is all around home, the physical world, sometimes money, job, career, health. Like there are some new beginnings that are starting here for you, but also noticing the Temperance card, Temperance, whenever that comes up, I think about balance, right? I think about fire and water. I think about making sure that we are not going too hard into something, but also not sitting back, not doing anything, right? There is this invitation in this new beginning to be trusting, trusting the timing. Oh yeah, now it's coming through. Trusting the timing, trusting that spirit has a plan here, trusting that your soul knows the plan, but also we don't just sit back and be like, okay, la-di-da, and give up. No, we actually get clear on what is the soul aligned action that I can be taking here to help me expand into that piece, to help me start to feel that within myself of what it is that I desire. And trust your inner knowing. Trust that you know, trust that you are your own guide, trust that the answers are here. And so if something isn't working, check in with yourself. Did that feel in alignment? If something is working, do more of that. Like this is where there is a big invitation here to be paying attention to what feels true, what feels right. Also being aware of when you're in your head and when the ego is doing its best work. And can you drop into the body and feel into what is the actual truth that wants to come through? Because it's here. It's here. Because big things are going to happen, my friend. Big things are ready to happen. And so trust the timing. Keep your heart open. Notice where, right? Like trust the timing. Keep your heart open. Notice where the ego is showing up, trying to shut things down. Step outside of your comfort zone. Do new things. Get into new environments because there are some new pieces that are about to begin, a new journey. Balancing that spirit has a plan and the divine timing with what is the aligned action that I need to be taking, paying attention to what is truth within you and listening to that and following that and allowing that to guide you. And get ready because it's going to be something very exciting for you. Man, oh man, that was a great card pull for everything that I spoke to with this piece. I hope that this can help you. I don't share very often anymore, sort of my personal pieces, but I really felt like it was important with this one and with how intense the energy is. Don't give up. You're not going crazy. Your soul chose this journey for really big transformation and really beautiful, big experiences. And in order for us to have those, we have to also go into the big, deep, hard stuff to clear so we can hold more of the beautiful. You've got this, my friend. I'm here if you need deeper support. I'll see you next week.